I said I was going to talk about the use of stops today and stop losers. So let me get into that. As you know, my approach does not utilize stops, and I think stops are very ineffective. And as a matter of fact, I think they are the cause of most losses. I mean, think about the term stop loss. That is a loss. So you have chosen to take a loss. And as I always say, losses are a choice. If you choose to lose, which is what stop losses are, then you are going to lose. Now, most people are under the impression that stop losses are used as a means of capital preservation. But that is a false understanding because within that idea of capital preservation through stop losers, stop losses, I mean, there is a false or a flawed assumption. And that assumption is that once you stop yourself out of a losing position, then you can go on to get in back into a winning position. But that assumption implies that you know the future. It implies that either you know the next trade is going to be a winner or some percentage of the following trades, the ensuing trades, that will be a winner. And you don't know that. And even though there are systems that people back testing is a waste of time. That is like curve fitting. It tells you nothing about the future. You can back test something for years and years and years, and when conditions change, that thing will be totally useless. And the fact of the matter is, you can see historically very, very savvy and sophisticated. Look at what happened to long-term capital management. These guys were Nobel Prize winners in economics. So you had the guy who created the Black-Scholes option pricing model. They back tested like crazy. They said there's always going to be this relationship between prices of certain securities. The guys got blown out. Look at what happened to Lehman. Look at what happened to Merrill Lynch. Okay, look at what happened. I mean, there's look at what happened to Bear Stearns. And these guys had much more money than you'll ever have, and they were staffed and by very savvy and sophisticated people, and they still blew out. All right. I get into trading with the view or the mindset that this is operating a business. You don't go into a business and stop yourself out when things get difficult. You manage the difficult period and you try to get through it. A business is stopped out when it reaches insolvency. Now, there is nothing out there that will preclude the possibility of insolvency. Again, I mentioned Lehman, I mentioned Merrill Lynch, I mentioned Bear Stearns. Those were all very, very sophisticated firms. I mentioned long-term capital management. But the first three, Lehman, Bear Stearns, Merrill Lynch, they were around for years and years and years, decades. I think Merrill Lynch was over 100 years old, okay? And it became insolvent. There is nothing I can tell you in the form of a system or a set of rules that can preclude or eliminate the possibility of insolvency. I knew many people who used stop losses, who were technically insolvent, at least from a trading point of view. They had to close their accounts down and they decided not to go forward because they didn't have enough capital to continue. Maybe they weren't personally insolvent. They went on to other careers or whatever, but their trading activities became insolvent. And yes, they used stops because, a loss after a loss after a loss after a loss. That's the same thing as one big loss that drains your account down to the point where you are insolvent from a trading point of view. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Now, the thing about stop losses is people say, well, it gets me out of a position that is not working. Not working in what sense? Not working in the last 5 minutes, not working in the last hour, not working in the last week, not working in the last month. I mean, it's very arbitrary. The market is not on a time schedule. It doesn't have to do what you want it to do in any particular period of time. If your analysis is correct, and I'll get into that in a minute because that's part of what I use for risk management. I don't use stop losses, but if your analysis is correct, that could happen over any period of time. It could happen in an hour, it could happen in a week, it could happen in a month, it could happen in a year, it could happen in 5 years. To stop yourself out, to say that it is not working, is really to take a loss when it is not necessary because you are unwilling to put up or pay the time that is required. Remember how many times I talk about I pay with time. I don't pay with money. So by stopping yourself out because you said it is not working because the price happened to move against you in some period of time is basically all that is. That's not prudent. That's not wise. That's not doing anything sophisticated or savvy. That's just saying I do not want to pay the time in order to stay in that position. That's it. It's basically a form of quitting. It is a form of quitting. The other thing about stops is that every big smart trader knows where people put their stops. I mean, as a floor trader, I was a floor trader for years on 4 different exchanges. It was a game we used to play all the time, and it was an amazing cash machine to us. We knew where people would cluster their stops. And normally people put them above, important highs or below important lows. They put them, under or above trend lines. They put them, near moving averages or just below or above moving averages. They put them at Fibonacci levels. It's very easy for these guys to pick those stops, and then you get stopped out and the market goes in another direction. Very, very easy. We used to do that all the time. We used to gun for this. We knew that where the stops were. We'd buy one lots all the way up or all the way down. We'd get the stops elected. We'd have a position before that. When the stops were elected, we sold into it or we covered our shorts, and then the thing went right back the other direction, and everyone, boom, was stopped out. So you think you're smart when you're using stops? You're not. That is like the most unsophisticated thing in the world. All right? So how do I do risk management? My risk management is a combination of things. First of all, I have an understanding of economics and MMT, which gives me a handle on not just what's going to happen as a result of certain policy or certain economic developments or even certain geopolitical developments, but it also gives me a handle on what the mass crowd, the zombies that I call them, are going to do, because they're going to react either the opposite way or in a way which has been sort of predefined by somebody. When rates go up, the dollar goes up. No, that's not how it works. When rates go up, gold goes down. That's not how it works, okay? When rates go up, it kills inflation. That's not how it works. Things like that. When the Fed cuts rates, when it buys assets, that's hyperinflation. That's not how it works, okay? When Fed cuts rates to zero and does quantitative easing, it creates hyperinflation. No, that's not how it works. We saw that. But, I know how the zombies are going to react. I know what information to look at, okay? Spent a lot of time honing in on the right information. I don't overexpose myself. Very, very important. You hear a lot of people who basically whine about how it's not working for them because they overexpose themselves and their expectations are too high. This is a deadly combination. When you overexpose yourself and have too high expectation. In other words, I want big money right away, and then when it doesn't happen, they whine that, this is not for me. This is not my style, right? I talked about this. There's only 2 styles. There's winning and there's losing. And if your style is that you want a lot of money right away with very little commitment, in other words, you're undercapitalized, right? And your expectation is way too high, then I said you're gambling. You're not trading, you're gambling. You're not operating a business. You're just basically buying a lottery ticket. So go buy the lottery ticket instead and stop saying you want to be a trader and stop whining when your expectation is not met. Your expectation is way beyond your ability to make that happen. You don't have enough money. Okay? People say, I don't want to make, if I make I only put in $1,000, and even if I'm making 40% a year, that's only $400. I can't live on $400. Oh, I'm sorry. Put in $1 million. You'll make 400 grand a year. I don't have $1 million. Well, there you go. Okay? You're not capitalized enough to realize your expectation. You got to take down your expectation. So my capital is aligned with my expectation. That's my, my principle of alignment. All right? And finally, I have patience. I don't care if it takes, a week or a month or 5 months or a year. I pay with time. I have all the time in the world. Okay, that's how I manage my position. So I don't use stops. Stops are not sophisticated. They're not savvy. They're not scientific. And most important, stops are losses. And when you use stop losses, they're called stop losses. You choose to lose. All right? I always said losing is a choice. You choose to lose. I do not do that. I choose to win. That's why I win every time. Now, to conclude, I'll say what I said the other day. Anytime somebody comes out with a new idea or a new way of doing something or a new way to look at a certain problem, they're criticized, they're attacked. Okay, so I totally understand that. But you want to know something? It doesn't bother me. I'm not asking you to come follow me. I couldn't give a crap. I couldn't give a rat's ass if you don't want to follow me. It's what I do. I'm trying to help you. If you want to stick with stop losses, stick with stop losses. If you want to attack my approach, then go right ahead. A lot of people before me, much, much more successful people who came up with groundbreaking, life-saving things who were attacked to, scientifically earth-shaking inventions and ideas who were attacked too. So I really don't care. I feel like I'm in good company. And most importantly, those of you who see it that way, it makes it so easy for me to take your money. All right? And that's what I love doing. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.